heartbreak for local parents. Not only were shots fired at their home, their son is actually one of the suspects.
Yeah, so tonight, the night team's Avery Everett takes us to South Bexar County, where that couple is calling for accountability.
They didn't come over here to send no message. They came over here to kill my husband.
A threat gone too far. That's how Erica and Jesus Negrete described the shooting their family survived.
It started with my son. We ended up getting his report card. He was missing 4 credits. We asked him, to do the dishes, and he started slamming stuff. And from there, that was the first time he had made a threat towards my husband, saying that he was going to put a bullet in his forehead.
That was the first threat Erica says her 16-year-old son made to his stepfather Jesus back in June. The second came on August 24th. She says her son posted a photo of a loaded magazine on social media.
On the top of the bullet was my husband's name.
Hours later, in the early morning of August 25th, Jesus reached out to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office to file a report about the threats. A deputy visited his home around 1 a.m. and left about 40 minutes later. It was at 3 a.m. the gunfire began.
Once my wife started screaming, I told her to get down, and all I could remember just the kids. So I was laying over there, and I ran this way, and I just completely fall right here.
Erica and Jesus were home with 3 of their children. No one was injured.
It needs to stop. The gun violence needs to stop.
An affidavit alleges their son and 3 others were involved in the planning of the shooting. In this video from the doorbell camera, we can only see 3 people firing weapons. But of the 4, only 1 of them is over the age of 18. Now, we've learned his name is Benny Garcia, and he's facing a 3rd-degree felony charge of deadly conduct, discharging of a firearm. BCSO says it cannot release information to us for people under the age of 18. That's part of the reason why this family is coming forward.
They had no remorse that the whole family was inside.
The shooting happened almost 2 months ago, but the scars are still here. Bullet holes have been patched, but the family says they're still uneasy sleeping at night.
I'm very, very hurt, very, very shocked. We're still shooken up.
Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office referred us to juvenile detention after we asked.
So let me get this straight, and I wanted to specifically do this story because you have a lot of folks out here that always want to get on the Black community, and they never want to focus in on themselves, their kids, their family, and what specifically is going on. So this obviously happened in a Hispanic neighborhood, and what inevitably happened is that you have 4 failures. One of which is 18, who's a grown man who decided to make grown man decisions, and the rest are teenagers. One of the teens proceeded to go home after the parents asked about the report card. The teen was like, well, it's not looking a little bit, it's not looking that great, probably missing 4 credits, but it is what it is. I'll make it up. The parents were like, we ain't trying to hear it. Go do the dishes. So the teen, it wasn't like he was put on punishment. It wasn't like they stripped him of, like, okay, you're not getting an allowance, you're not getting nothing for Christmas or your birthday, you're not going out with your friends, we're taking back the car, we're doing this, we're doing that. They simply told him to go do the dishes. You're missing 4 credits, my guy, and they told you to go do the dishes. You weren't on punishment. They were as lenient as possible. What did this fool decide to do? Oh, let me start throwing up a rage and throwing fits and doing this and doing that. Let me go with some of my friends who ain't really got nothing and who ain't doing nothing in life, and let's click up real quick and let's start throwing subliminals online. Really? Instead of you getting your mind right, instead of you deciding that, oh, I'm going to do better, I'm going to work harder. I appreciate my parents for not really going in on me, and you decide that you want to start throwing subliminals. And not only that, just in case you don't know, you're incriminating yourself online. This is how a lot of rappers got themselves caught directly up along with other individuals. So not only did you do that, you then decided to plot with your clown friends. All 4 of you guys are failures. I wouldn't be too surprised if the 18-year-old was a dropout. I would not be too surprised. I wouldn't be too surprised if he was gang related also. Y'all got together with a plan to be like, oh, we're gonna go hit up your house real quick and do a drive-by. Really? So you mean to tell me that y'all can't keep up y'all grades? Y'all can't do the stuff that y'all supposed to do, but you can save up money. And somehow, some way, all of y'all get y'all hands on guns of which y'all ain't even supposed to legally have. Excuse me? Really? Like, what world are we living in at this moment in time where this is the thing? This is the go-to. And this is why I'm trying to tell a lot of folks out here, a lot of these kids out here is crazy. A lot of these kids out here is crazy. And parents, you guys are at fault at the end of the day. You guys are raising nothing but criminals and gang members directly out here. Ones that are going to go through, tear up the community because they can't get their way, or because a little bit of responsibility is placed directly on them. They're going to decide to go out there and do stuff like this. And then people want to turn around and get mad at society for doing what you should have did when it dealt with your kids, which is putting them away, which is teaching them wrong from right, right from wrong. Every single one of these kids, every single one of these men, because they made grown men decisions, right? They had grown men weapons, they had grown men bullets. They decided to come up with a grown man plan and go after other grown folks, right? So they're grown men. All of them need to get thrown away to prison and never be seen or heard from ever again. I'm not trying to hear nobody talking about like, oh, everybody deserves a second chance. No, everybody doesn't. They deliberately went out and decided that they were going to shoot up this home that had a mother, that has a father, and it has little kids directly in there. They didn't care about nobody's life. All of this was because of bad grades. Again, that is a self problem. That's nobody else's problem, nobody else's issue. That is a self problem because you couldn't do for yourself, because you didn't want to sit up there and go out there and get your grades. You didn't want to do the homework. You didn't want to do the tutoring. You didn't want to take summer school, whatever it is. You decided that you wanted to be a failure in life. And because you could not deal with being a failure in life, of which is something that you created, you decided that you wanted to go after everybody else. And you found some crash out dummies. And then on top of that, they said that one of them is still out on the run. Color me surprised. Color me surprised. And I want people to note that if this was the other way around, and again, I'm talking about 2025, I'm not talking about no other time period, 2025. If this was somebody who was black and they did this exact same thing, I promise you, you will see this all over the place. It will be plastered. It will be the poster child story of poster child stories. But because it's of a demographic that is not Black American, this is why you don't really hear much about this story. I recently myself, it is currently, sorry about that. Let me actually look at the time right now. It is currently 3:23. I just heard about this story. And color me surprised. And it took me, and the funniest thing is when you type it in, it actually takes quite a little bit to find. Because the specifics and everything of that nature from the video that I was able to watch, it didn't really have a lot in there. So you had to, really try to type some stuff directly in there to figure it out. Even if you took a snapshot and tried to look through Google and find out who the person was, it didn't really pull anything up. Like I said before, this is a clear-cut case of why it is that other communities out here should specifically be looking at their communities and not focused in on the Black community and what it is that the Black community is doing. Because the moment in time that you decide to do that, things like this are able to slide by. Luckily, the parents were able to survive, because I can only imagine how this story would have went. And I promise you, it would have ended up being that the two parents were going to be found deceased and that the two children were basically left there to find their parents. Because one of their older sibling decided he wanted to go out there on a vengeance streak because he was told to do dishes because he was missing 4 credits. That's the most insane thing possible. And I hope that these parents never forgive this, I don't even know what to call him, this demon. I hope they never open their hearts up. I hope they never visit. I hope they never write letters. I hope that the moment in time that he decides that he wants to be forgiven, I hope they still never forgive him. Don't go visit him. Don't go talk to him. Because like I said, he made his bed and he should lie directly in it. It is not your responsibility to feel sorry. It is not your responsibility to do any of those things. Like I said, you are at fault for certain things. But beyond that, you at no point in time should be going through and deciding that, oh, we're going to accept him back and this. No. Leave him in prison. Leave him in prison. Show up to that court hearing and ask for the maximum amount of years humanly possible. Make sure he never gets out, because I promise you, the moment of time that he gets out, he's going to seek vengeance. The moment of time he gets out, he's going to decide to click up with the gang and not just go after his family, but go after others directly in the community. The moment of time that he gets out, I promise you, he's going to end up getting a young woman pregnant. And he's going to create the exact same demon he is into another vessel. And that's something that we just don't need. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I said in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.